Hi, I'm Harold Dvorak. I live in San Diego County. I guess these guys came here because I started building some ships some years ago. Now, the motivation for building the ships really was my father. My father was in the Navy, and he told me stories all my life about the Navy and the circumstances during the Second World War and stuff. And I was really excited about building these ships and showing them to him. And it took years for him to come all the way from Fullerton, California down to San Diego to finally see my ships when they were finished. So it took me 2 years to build the first one, and the average build was probably about 9 months. And when he passed away, I didn't have the motivation to build any more ships, so obviously that was the major motivation for building the ships. What I would do is I would go to the store with my wife. I'd find stuff on the shelves that she'd buy and think about their sizes and stuff and how they would fit on a ship that I have in my mind. Now, this ship that I would be building, I would essentially fabricate in my mind with every little piece and put them in a drawer in the garage. And once I get all the pieces in my mind in the drawer, the ship is essentially there, I start building it. Now, I use wood to do the hull, and then I use sometimes aluminum to do turrets and stuff like that. These are all World War II gunboats, from like destroyers to cruisers, battleships. The first ship I built was a German battle cruiser, and the reason I built that is I was writing a screenplay for a movie, and I had to create a nemesis. And I decided to use a fictitious ship as a way to take resources from the Germans. And I designed the ship, and I was using it to take these parts to build parts of the ship for stage. So you could take an actor, for example, and put him in front of this set and see the proportions and make sure the proportions look right. I really didn't intend to make the ship in the beginning. I intended just to make sets and look at proportions. Well, I made the castle of the ship, and my wife looked at it and said, "Why don't you build the whole ship?" So what I did is I built the ship from the top down instead of from the bottom up like you're supposed to. Now, the ship itself turned out to be a German battle cruiser, and it took me about 2 years to build it. It had 4 electric motors and a radio controlled rudder when it was finished. But the problem with it was it weighed 270 pounds. So it took 5 guys to go play with it. And one of the things I wanted to do is, of course, blow it up. But she wouldn't let me do that. And once it was finished, everybody got excited about it, so I kept building ships. I had lots of junk, and I would build a ship out of things like bottles and deodorant containers and fish bobbers and stuff like that. And pretty soon the one ship turned into about 15 ships.